Did you ever just sit there at the beginning of a season and be like, that thing is sitting downstairs? Because it literally was underneath you, both of them at one point. I don't know where to go next. Or was it always just, man, what do I pick? Because you certainly had, an envelope of stories that you would occasionally, maybe we should try this one this year. This one wasn't right at this time.
Well, going back to what I was saying earlier on, and at the beginning we thought it would be harder to come up with new stories, but it actually became easier as time went on, just because of the mythology was so rich, and we could always go back. But whenever we would be able to come up with a one-off episode, those were always the hardest to come up with. But I found personally the most satisfying. Like I remember we did an episode, I think it was in season 8 or season 9, where they visit a civilization where people start disappearing, but I think revisions. It's revisions, yeah. But the townspeople their memories kept getting rebooted, so they don't remember their missing loved ones.
Look at these documents. They're over 400 years old. They're written in your language. How could we fake this? Why would we fake this? The only reason they still exist is because the computer did not foresee outside interference. To anyone on the link, they're completely irrelevant. But why?
The computer is programmed to maintain the community. Individuals had to be sacrificed for the good of the whole. Only each time someone disappeared, no one noticed because all memory of them was erased.
That was, an episode where they go off, they, get into like an adventure, deal with an issue, and at the end they go home.
Yeah.
And, those were kind of a rarity as time went on. And whenever we could do one of those, I always found those just extremely satisfying.
You see? Now we need your help.
Chris Heyerdahl's first episode.
Oh, was it his first? Wow.
So I'm pretty positive.
Yeah.
So, what about Atlantis? What stands out to you, particular moments in Atlantis? We haven't talked about that very much over time. Why are you guys doing that?
No, just thinking
Something just passed.
No, what?
Come on. There was a moment.
There was a moment.
One of my favorite kind of funny Stargate Atlantis moment is, I don't know, kind of, it's sort of like off base, but it was, they were shooting, what was the episode where they have to go, where they basically discover the crashed hive ship on the planet. It's a submerged, and then they have to sort of, they put on these diving suits and board the crashed Wraith hive ship.
Are you talking about Submersion? The one that's
that sounds like it makes that sounds like it makes sense. Yeah.
And her makeup coming off because it was made of foam.
Yeah. So. And so they constructed these underwater suits that were like airtight, and they were like a whole big deal because they were hard to move and kind of mechanized, and you have to get in, and they would have to seal you in. And once you were sealed in for like the scene, because it was such like a deal to get you out. And so Joe Flanagan was waiting to go into his suit, and one of the mechanics was there fiddling with the suit, and so he basically just finished it up, and they're like, "Come on, let's go." And so he hopped out, and Joe hopped in, and they put him in, they sealed him in. And it was only when they had sealed him in that he realized that the mechanic who had been there passed gas while he was in it, and then he ended up, Joe was sealed in for the entirety of the scene, and he was like super not happy. And I remember our line producer, John Smith, after the fact was like, I don't think it was malicious anyway. That's good to know.
Just think of it as a walk on the beach. Beach that's about to explode. It's supposed to make me feel better.
There was more than once where the show shot in water. That was the amount of like.
Oh yeah, I remember the most memorable for me was what was the one with Descent, where
season 6.
Yeah, we ended up shooting in the Olympic pool, and we sunk the set. So that to basically, to sort of, give the impression that the water was rising, we actually were sinking the set. And that was the episode where Corin Nemec does this amazing underwater sequence where he swims down and he switches out, pieces like, And he did it all in one take.
He did that in one take.
It was one take, but in the take, like a piece of something fell out, so we couldn't use the one take, so we had to do it and use use the 2 takes, and you know, it was amazing.
He had a hard job to do. Maybe it wasn't hard for him per se, but from the fan perspective.
Yeah, he was always perceived as the Daniel Jackson replacement. So
Well, Jack's attitude toward him, I think, pushed a lot of that. Because Jack was very resentful of him because of what he had done. And so the fans, I think, really had internalized Jack. And so when Mitchell came along, they really fixed that later on, you know, making him a hero. So.
I honestly, I never felt that towards.
Really? No, so did I. So did I read all this online.
It really worked for me, and season 6 is honestly it's my favorite season. I think that season, they were just.
Corin was a good guy. Very nice. I still keep in touch with him. And I remember actually, you know, all the actors have their thing, you know, something like they kind of like to do or bring to their character. You know, Rick's was always I don't know if you ever noticed, you know, how many times O'Neill would look into his teacup and basically dip his finger in to fish out something. That was one of his many things. And Corin's thing for Jonas was food. So he always had a lollipop or a banana.
Or a cup of coffee at the Stargate.
Well, yes, exactly. Once he came out with like a cup of coffee on you know, in the SGC, and Rick was like, "That's my bit. I'm gonna have to let."
Take that back, please. No, the same with him and the banana.
Yeah.
In Frozen in Descent is so funny.
Yeah.
So. And at least we got him back for one episode in season 7.
Yeah.
You know? But it was like season 5, you know, he's this little guy. Season 6, he's like, man, he found a gym at the SGC. Holy cow. And season 7, he's small again.
Yeah, and you never know how fans are going to react to it because you're shooting it, you like the character, you like that, and then but actually shooting is a different thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes the actors come in and you're like, oh, you get along with them, or you don't, or whatever the situation is. And it's really interesting to see what kind of reaction you get from.
Yeah, who the fans like and who the fans don't like.
Yeah.
And did you guys have a fairly, obviously you had Gate World, but did you have a fairly open dialogue with fans in general?
I've been doing an online blog for going on almost 11 years now, and I've never missed a day. It started off actually late in Stargate Atlantis. It was like just supposed to be a 2-week food journal, but I continued it when I got back to Stargate, figuring, as a writer, it will force me to write. And then just the pressure of having to come up with something every day has just, you know, driven me. And, you know, that's how I was able to sort of reach out and you know, get in touch with the fans. And, you know, as David, you can attest.
History.
Yeah.
And, you know, it had its highs and its lows.
Yes, fandom is a double-edged sword. They're very passionate. So on the one hand, they love what you're doing, it's great. If they don't like it, they let you know, and they can get very angry. I remember once, actually, I even forget what the issue was, but they were angry about something, and there was a scene where it was a shootout, and a bullet ricochets off a giant fan. And there was this whole like fan theory online that basically we had included that shot in because it was us, the producers, shooting a fan. And it was crazy. I can assure you that was not our intent. But it's just crazy how sometimes you know.
But people, like, the interesting thing too about fans and how sort of passionate they were about the show. Like we would be, you know, shoot at the Bridge Studios, and then inevitably, whether it was your office or somebody's office, would be like, oh, we got some fans here, and they would travel from all over the world, and they would come
and camp out outside the fence. Yeah.
Or when Bessie died, you know, with the
the save cars and Beckett.
and said, hey.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it was always amazing to me that they would come, and they would make their trip to Vancouver from Germany or somewhere in the
It's a
world.
pilgrimage.
And they would check out the different locations, and it wasn't just because there wasn't a convention on. It wasn't GateCon wasn't on. They would go. They would check out the different locations. They would find that information out online, and then ultimately they would come. And usually somebody would walk down. Garrow was really great to go down and chat.
Dan Shea would pop the fence, much to the security guards' chagrin. Yeah.
Dan Shea would get some fan love, and it was amazing. It was just it was the passion was something I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
For sure. And that I don't know if that's gone away. Like people still talk about Stargate.
It's
well, I was at New York Comic Con this weekend.
Yeah. Here,
and
listen to this.
We had a booth, and I'm telling you, we were
next to another prominent,
very
listen to this.
a very significant
sci-fi
franchise, and we actually, from the numbers that we got coming through to do our photo op, were more than this other major sci-fi franchise. But
I can believe it.
With those fans, for me, because this was my kind of chance to finally actually start engaging with fans on an official basis, and man,
I think the fans have waited long enough. It's been at least 5 years since the Stargate series was on the air. Yeah, more.
Well, why this is so interesting is that the stories that you'd always hear from fans and families, especially at conventions or online, they would talk about how they watched it as fans.
Yeah.
And so those, the mother and the father, and they're now whatever, they're still watching, but the kids.
Babies have been born. One of them in this room have now watched.
Sorry,
Hey.
just remembering something from New York Comic Con along that line. A chap came over with his family and was like, "Hey, do you like Stargate?" He said, "Yes, this is my daughter, Sharae."
No way.
You're kidding. Yep. And we all just freaked out and we're kind of jumping up and down, and he's like, "You guys are intense." But how, that's just amazing.
Wow.
That blew me away.
I know that teal'c as well. There's a little girl named teal'c, not so little anymore, but man,
That's a nice name.
mind blowing. Yeah, well, yes, it is.
Taylor is a nice name. Chardonnay works too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teal.
Teal, not so much.
But no, it's in some respects it is stronger than ever. But we're all kind of in waiting as Origins, this is shooting right now, comes out and we'll see what's next. But I think that anything is on the table in terms of what we've heard. So who knows?
Well, look, I think the casting announcement that we made, unfortunately, it was so popular it crashed the platform.
That's no joke.
Not great news, really, but great news in the fact that it shows that
There's an
Stargate
audience.
fans are still out there.
They haven't gone anywhere. They're
and
waiting.
I think that's really important. This is why this stuff is.
It's interesting to tell it from on sort of 10 episodes, 10-minute episodes. It kind of allows, and we talked about it earlier, it allows the fans and you guys to sort of dip your feet back into that world and sort of just explore the opportunity for an actual new television show. I mean, that's kind of exciting. I think people will tune in for sure.
And that I'm a bit of a canon hog, if you guys haven't noticed, that it fits into that mold, and that the people who are making it want to make sure that it fits in that.
And that's
makes me
where
feel very good.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm like, we have a lot
Exactly.
exchange a lot of
A
text
lot.
messages.
Yes.
This did this, the Harcesis did that, or whatever, but.
Yeah. So, and it's I don't want anything to kind of retcon anything. I just want to live in harmony so we can all just enjoy a good.
Ideally,
Stargate story.
I think will make you can do something new, but as long as you pay tribute to what has come before, I think the fans will be happy.
Yeah, because then we can just focus on enjoying a good kind of Stargate story, and we're not getting caught up on little nitpicks.
So you are the de facto or a de facto series Bible, because one of the things I kept on getting all the time when on my blog is fans asking, can we get a copy of the series Bible? But the truth was, after season 5, where we did actually have a series Bible, the series Bible was almost as big as the actual Holy Bible. We set it aside, and we all became kind of de facto Bibles. And then certain people like Rob would be the ancients expert, and
Peter,
Brad.
Jaffa,
Exactly.
And Unas.
But so you're kind of the guy now.
I've been rewatching
the
show,
repository.
I feel like I've plugged into the repository at some point. Like Kieran consults with me and runs things off me, but he's also one as well. You know, it's there.
We talked about it earlier, and remember Kate Ritter was her name, and she ran Rick's, and I think probably still does, fan site, but she did the Stargate lexicon, and it was a piece of work. Like it was very, everything that had come in that show ended up in the lexicon, and it was. She had no interest in. I mean, she was amazing. She was so kind. She came to set a few times. She was never interested in making money off it or anything.
Yeah.
She was just
she
like
loved it.
Yeah, and it was her
She's
baby,
something.
and it's something that like. Just to be able to look at that body of work and realize somebody, loved the show and loved Rick that much, that was going to put in that kind of work. Because it was no joke. It wasn't, and this was, everything seemed to be a little bit harder 15 years ago when it came to doing anything. Now, stuff you can really reach out and find stuff. Yeah. She had to like put in that work and be like, oh, in this episode.
And I came later around season 7, we started building the Omnipedia. And I remember when Space Race came out and there were 100 references to one-off products and services from TechCon Group. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I've got to catalog all of these things.
And it's great because, to be honest with you, as the series went on, I would reference the Omnipedia.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But then you get into universe and into unknown space, and nothing has a name.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, this is the reverse. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. So we had no naming conventions. So the sand critter at the beginning of the series in Air, what do we name this thing? How about a dust devil life form?
Yeah.
And that's what we stuck with. So, But
it is amazing having those things, even with Dark Matter. It'd be like you're writing something and you're working a script, and you're like, what happened to who was that? And then you go on there and you just have, you can pull up that, and so having those resources was
and rewatching the show in preparation for a lot of these interviews, finding things that I didn't even remember, because we were trying to deal with Origins is set before everything that we saw in 45 with Tormented Teal'c. And Kieran asked me, he said, when did the Germans discover the DHD? And
I was trying to rack my brain. I'm like,
and I was trying to figure out where it was, because I was like, I know it's referenced somewhere. And in season 5, the Russian episode, which was
Watergate, or
no, that was season 4 with Marina.
The
Service.
Tomb?
Yeah, the Tomb. Thank you, Joe. What do you know? It's Daniel. It's a throwaway line in the early part of the episode where the Germans discovered it in 1908.
Yeah, that's it.
God, I remember that.
So they discovered it long before the Stargate was unburied. And what can we do with that? What does that mean? You know? So
we can do some fun things.
there's a ton of stuff to mine over the 350, 80 if you include Infinity, which we don't.
Infinity was the cartoon?
Yeah.
Wasn't good?
I didn't like it.
I didn't see it. Someone had dropped off like a box set, like the video box set, and it sat in my office for 5 years.
The animation's terrible.
Yeah, wasn't there also a video game that was not good either?
Don't get me started.